We got to chat a little bit about Canada, though. We want to show them some love as they exit the SheBelieves Cup because something interesting that came out of the SheBelieves Cup is every single team that participated in this event is walking away with a win. And that does include Canada. They got a win against Brazil on their second match day. And Japan, my goodness, we definitely have to talk about them and their performance. They're also walking away out of this tournament. I think it's second place, actually, which is a huge turnaround for them. But they defeat Canada 3-0 on their final match day. It sort of felt like they put everything together and finally got that 90-minute performance on the last match day of the tournament. And I didn't predict this would be like a 3-0 kind of scoreline, but listen, I love being wrong, and this was fantastic to watch. It was we're watching a very, very talented and very special Japan side, and the fact that we're watching a Japan side that we know will want the ball, that we know are tactical warriors on the pitch, but also just sort of bring that physicality and like athleticism to the game. Like there were moments and stretches of this game where Japan was like bodying Canada off the ball, and I was like, wow, this is happening.
It was good to watch, honestly. I think a lot of teams, right, you go into a tournament like this, knowing that no matter what nation you are, you're going to play against three different nations that are also going to the World Cup, that are also top 11 ranked in FIFA rankings right now. It's good competition. What are you looking to get out of that? How are they going to test you? What questions can you ask? You're looking to find holes in your system. And I think that this game, I was incredibly impressed with Japan. I mean, I was impressed with Japan before SheBelieves started, right? A long time. But then as I watched this Japanese side throughout the SheBelieves Cup tournament, I became more and more impressed and more intimidated with what this side can do, and kind of how they can go out and put their stamp on a game and kind of prove that they deserve to be recognized for what they're doing, because this game started fast and furious for Japan. Canada also had a number of opportunities, right? They weren't sitting back. They weren't being thrown in their face by Japan, but the opening 26 minutes is when Japan got their first goal and got the first one on the board. And they end up getting another one before halftime on a penalty kick. So now if you're Canada, you're heading into the halftime at 2-0 deficit. And you have to dig yourself out of this hole against a Japanese side that is not going to let up and not going to put anything on you. We had to see an unfortunate injury to the Canadian goalkeeper and then Caitlin Sheridan come in. There was just like a lot of moving parts in this. And all the while, Canada is mentally exhausted, emotionally exhausted, which sucks.
Yeah, I mean that absolutely has to be, in the front of our minds, like as we talk about Canada and how they navigated their SheBelieves Cup tournament. From start to finish, we saw the evolution of their protests. It started off in solidarity with the United States women's national team because that was the first match day for them during this event. But it continued against Brazil. It continued against Japan. And we got to see all of the teams take the opportunity to express their solidarity with Canada wearing purple armbands. And it's unfortunate that we're still in a place where a lot of teams are not only showing solidarity out of, their goodness or kindness or the fact that they're the opposition and it's a respectful thing to do, but because it's something that they unfortunately can relate to, that there's just constant disputes between women's national team programs and their federations, the lack of resources or support, and to sort of take a look at Canada over the course of their 3 games. They bounced back in that second match, right? Against Brazil. We saw them get that win. But
yeah, I think it was a pretty up and down tournament for Canada,
Yeah,
right?
very
Like,
mixed. Yeah.
very, very inconsistent. I guess, like against the United States, it was 2-0 loss, and then they win 2-0 against Brazil. They turned it around in Nashville. They got this great shutout win. I think Canada played really well during that game against Brazil. And then today against Japan, it was a flat Canadian side that we just didn't see them. I think that the game between Japan was a little bit back and forth in the first like 25 minutes. And then really Japan just took hold of it.
Yeah.
It was sad. I mean, after D'Angelo got hurt on the initial goal that happened for Japan, that was it. D'Angelo was the starting Canadian goalkeeper. They gave Kaylin Sheridan a rest for this game. She ends up going down. There's a bit of a collision in the box, and Japan ends up scoring after D'Angelo goes down, or as D'Angelo is going down. And so because of that, I think it hurt the Canadians
Oh,
to
yeah.
get a start. I mean, that opening goal, the way it happened, your goalkeeper getting injured, you having to sub in another goalkeeper, and I
Yeah.
mean, that's just rough. That's really rough.
That absolutely just like
Deflated
disrupts
them.
and
Yeah.
deflates any game plan that you had, or momentum even that you were trying to generate going forward. They score and their goalkeeper, or Japan scores, and D'Angelo gets injured and gets
Mhm.
subbed out, right? Hopefully as a precaution. Um, then you concede a penalty,
Mhm.
and this is
Rough.
like a ridiculously well taken
Yeah.
penalty by Hasegawa. I mean, you don't often hear the swish come into the net in soccer, but this was that type of penalty kick. And then you try to make those adjustments in the second half, but the thing about that is Japan almost seemed to get stronger as the game went on.
Mhm.
And then you just sort of have the cherry on top of things with June Endo and her third goal for Japan in this match. And it just, with about 15 minutes or so of regulation remaining, they're just sort of felt like it was just done. Like that
Yeah.
was it, and you were just going to play out the remainder of this game, and that's all she wrote. So I mean, it was interesting to sort of hear, even on the callback for this game, like looking ahead a little bit to what comes next for Canada, that they're already targeting their April window, that they're going to head over to Europe,
Yeah.
they're going to face France. They're already looking ahead, and they're only going to play one match. They're not going to have the 2-game window. Like, they're already trying to look to that next
I
phase to
know.
hopefully kind of put this very, very, very long week, or 10 days behind them.
I mean,
Um,
they still have to fight the good fight of equal pay,
yeah,
like, on top of trying to move past this. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, definitely heartbreaking for Canada on and off the pitch. But I think a lot of really good things from Japan. Even I know you talked about Hasegawa getting the penalty kick in the second goal for Japan, but it was drawn by June Endo. June Endo is the one that gets in the box, and I think nutmegs. Right,
Great game.
Kadisha? I think that there was a nutmeg there. Lots of soccer today, I'm gonna be honest.
Great.
My brain's a little scrambled. I watched, like, 10 soccer
You
games, and
watched
not
so
like
many games today.
it was amazing. But so I think there was a nutmeg there, then Junendo draws the penalty kick, and then Hasegawa finishes it, and then Junendo ends up getting on the score sheet herself, in the 77th minute, and really putting a bow on this. And looking at the tournament overall, right, I am shocked that Japan lost 1-0 to Brazil. No knock against
Yeah.
Brazil by any means. More so just I think that Japan started the tournament slow. I
I
think
mean,
Japan started the tournament slow.
I think it's an important point that you bring up. I mean, I think we could look back on both of the games in that match day one
Mhm.
series, whether it was US versus Canada or Brazil and Japan, and maybe there were just some real match day one type of energy, a little bit from all four of the teams. But it's going to be interesting to see where Japan goes next
Yeah.
from this. We have talked a lot about Canada, but we actually didn't speak a little bit about some of the reaction uh, uh, due to the lack of attention that's being given to their team. We're talking veteran players who play in NWSL, whether it's Yuki Nagasato or Naomi Kawasumi, trying to bring attention to their women's national team program in light of a World Cup year, talking a lot about and taking to their social media profiles to try to talk up this team, talk about the game, and really kind of call out the federation and their lack of promotion of the team. So I think maybe for the current sort of immediate reaction to that is these two programs, we're going to absolutely have to revisit how they look in that April window, and if they are still going to be in the process of fighting these fights with their federation.